there. So there's a lot of rabbit holes this next podcast topic is going to bring on, and I encourage you all to let me know if you want to hear about one of those in a future podcast. Enjoy. I discovered a new word today. It's called emotional incest or covert incest. And it describes an unhealthy family dynamic where a parent relies on their child for emotional and practical advice and support. Despite the name, it doesn't refer to inappropriate closeness or involve any sexual abuse. And this got me really thinking because I'm going through the reparenting my inner child part of therapy for the past, 2 years. Really involved 2 years. And my father and my middle sister's relationship, as far back as I can remember growing up, has always been golden child, chosen child, favorite child scenario. I have an older sister, a middle sister, the one that I'm talking about, and then I have a brother and myself. I'm not going to get too involved in the truth of everything. I'm going to change up some names and scenarios, but this is the story. So as far back as I can remember, she was always favored. Now, my parents are very mentally ill, narcissistic monsters. And they were created by their parents. My parents are in their 60s. I'm almost 40, my brother's almost 40, and both my sisters are in their mid-40s. My first sister was not wanted. She was a surprise. My parents were teenagers. Apparently you could figure that out. And my middle sister was the one that was supposed to be the boy. And, because you have to have a girl and a boy. And they planned her. So I'm saying this is like in the cosmos. Like, they planned her. They thought she was going to be a boy, of course, because that was what they wanted. But when they found out she was a girl, my dad was like, okay, she's still going to get named after me. Still going to have the same middle initial. Like, this is what I'm envisioning, because this is how it panned out. Yeah. And she was even born in the same hospital that he was born in. So, and I don't believe in coincidence. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I believe in pre-approved contracts that our souls agree upon before we're born. And yeah, when we're born, we come, we're born on earth, we forget everything for the most part. But it's too perfect. So anyway, his name was Chris. She was named Christina. His middle name starts with a P. Her middle name starts with a P. I mean, that was planned before he even knew her personality. So anyway. So he was done. My dad was done. He had the first daughter that they kind of messed up with because they were like teenage, unemotionally intelligent adults, parents, and my dad was like, we can barely afford like her, so we're going to have this little boy, which ends up being a little girl, Christina. And we'll be done. Well, my mom, I guess she wanted to have like this perfect family, so you have to have at least a boy and at least a girl. She wanted to try for another boy. My dad said no. And a couple of years later, she gets pregnant, and she ends up getting her boy. And then I came along too. I was a surprise also. So, okay. I guess I have to tell you now, even though I'm trying to make this as vague as possible. I am a twin. My brother and I are. We're born the same day. No, that's more on that later, because talking about now, this is my mom's only son. And she's mentally ill. And yeah. So anyway, back to my sister and my father, Chris and Christina. My father was a terrible person, and my mother was the one that kind of revved him up. He would work really long hours, and I think it was mostly to avoid his wife and his children. But he also needed the money, and so, he would be gone for long periods of time, and he would be exhausted when he got home. And my mom apparently did the bare minimum. She did it with me too, but I was her youngest, so they had more money and experiences by the time I was born. But anyway, she was a mom that didn't want to be a mom until she wanted to be a mom, and that was very, very short amount of time. Like maybe once in a month or something, she'd be a mom and like cook a decent dinner and like buy us McDonald's and take it to our school for lunch, like the cool mom thing. But anyway, my mom, she wanted to sleep and be left alone. But if my father gave anybody attention, then she was jealous of them. But when she finally got alone time with my father, she didn't want anything to do with him. And so, she's still doing that to this day. And now my dad's just like, well, I've been with you for over 40 years. I might as well just stick it out, That's honestly what he said to me before. But anyway, Christina always treated me badly as far back as I could remember. We used to call her Bossy. And even though we have an older sister that's a couple years older than Christina, Christina was always treated like she was the oldest and always acted like she was the oldest. They talk about birth order. Well, she would have been the firstborn because she's just always had that mentality when they talk about birth order, which is whatever. But anyway, and my oldest sister, she kind of just like let things slide. Like she didn't want to get hurt, didn't want to get in trouble. And when I mean hurt, my father would beat us. He would spank us, but he would be so full of anger and rage that he didn't realize his strength, and he beat us. So, and he did other things to us, not just with a belt. And so my older sister was like, hey, I got like the shitty part, like they were teenagers, still in love when I was conceived. I've been treated really fucking weird, and I just want to be left the fuck alone. Like, I'm not gonna be your shining star. You already have Christina for that, I'm not gonna go above and beyond. You already have Christina for that. So just like leave me alone. And I'm gonna be sweet to you because I'm a sweet, sweet person. And she is. She's sweet. But she's also, she just checked out. And, I mean, I think that was her coping mechanism. So, they both are, now Christina's married. She's been married for over 10 years. And her husband is his own mess of family disappointments, I've heard. I got interrupted. I'm back. So, anyway, my parents have lived together for 40 plus years, and they're sick, narcissistic individuals who are aging. And Christine is in her mid-40s, and she's married and does not live with him. She has not lived with him for years, and she's currently living with my parents. And they don't have room for her, so she's basically just kind of barged in like she's used to doing, and I guess she's sleeping on the couch. I don't know, but they only have like half of their house as usable because they were renovating it for, I guess, their final time. And so, you know, I guess I could be coined the youngest daughter that was jealous of her sister, but I'm not. They took out a home equity loan when she graduated from high school, and she got accepted into a prestigious college, and they took out a home equity loan to pay for her to go to school, and they bought her a new vehicle. They didn't do that with my first sister. They didn't definitely do that with my brother or I. And they even said, because she ended up getting kicked out of school, that because of her major disappointment, they would not do that for my brother or I. So, once again, the golden child still got what she wanted, even though she ended up not achieving a degree ever. So, I don't know how comfortable that would be, to be living with my parents and like attached to my dad's hip, and married but not living with my husband, or I guess interacting with him very much, no matter how terrible the marriage is. You know, like, why are you still married? And I just feel like I was born into this family for a reason, part of my contract, and I've learned a lot of life lessons. And then I just feel really bad that they got to choose this type of life for themselves. But I know that I almost chose that type of life too. The life of misery and manipulation and being a snake. Because I am a product of my parents. I am a little monster. We all are to a point, but I was able to, just for some reason, not to get sucked all the way in like she did. That wasn't part of my contract. I am a cycle breaker, and I feel that this is one of many stories of my journey that I believe other people would resonate with. Or maybe they're the golden child, and maybe they'll give me their point of view. But they've always been, my father and my sister, very close. And I think the only reason that my mother puts up with her is because she knows that she could possibly lose my father if she puts up a fight. And we all know my mother is just wanting attention until she gets it, and then she doesn't want it anymore. But she doesn't want anybody else to have it either. So that's a freaking mess. Until next time, be good to yourself and love yourself. And to know that you're not alone.